Welcome to Community Corner on 94.5 Praise, a program where we discuss the topics affecting the Low Country, but also programs and organizations making positive changes in our community. We are blessed today to have three United States Marines retired on Community Corner in the person of retired Master Gunnery Sergeant Jackson, who is the president of the local chapter of the Monfort Marine Association, retired Master Sergeant Patterson, and retired Master Sergeant Harris. We welcome you three to Community Corner.
Thank you, Pastor. Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Yes, Pastor, I'm glad to be here. And what we're doing here, we're trying to bring about or continue the legacy of the Monfort Marines who existed during the period of 1942 through 1949. And we want to continue that through informing the public of the mission and the accomplishments of the Monfort Marine Association and what's going on today. We want to educate the young people about what the Monfort Marines really mean to the Marine Corps and Monfort Point.
Thank you, Pastor. I'm glad to be here today also.
We welcome you all, and in the spirit of carrying on the legacy of the Monfort Marines, which is really a huge undertaking. We just want to continually update the public on what is going on. So if you will, Mr. President, tell us some of the things that have been happening. Chapter 9 has been quite busy here in the last 8 or 9 months. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. In March, we had a gospel showcase on the Marine Corps Air Station in Beaufort. We had Colonel Buck, who was the commanding officer at the time, present the Congressional Gold Medal to the Jamison family, who came down from Charleston, South Carolina. About 60 or so of them came down, and we just had a wonderful time in the base theater there aboard the Marine Corps Air Station Beaufort. Also, on June the 28th, we was invited to TCL by Mrs. B, who is a retired educator. She is with the Upward Bound program, and she wanted me to bring some Monfort Point members of our chapter out to talk to the kids about Monfort Point and about life in general, and that went over very well.
Let us go back, if you will, go back to the air station and the awarding of the Congressional Gold Medal to the Jamison family. That was quite a service, and it was something that for the community as well as that family, it was a memorable occasion. Would you say, did you attend, Mr. Patterson?
Yes, I did, and it was very memorable, and it was wonderful to see how the family, how receptive they was to the awarding of this medal to the Jamison family. Yeah,
Colonel Buck, as well as the Sergeant Major. As a matter of fact, he was newly installed as the station Sergeant Major. They were there, and it was quite an event. In addition to that, we had some of the best gospel singing that I have heard in a long time. Would you say, Master Sergeant Jackson? I'm sorry, Master Sergeant Harris?
Yes, Pastor. That performances by the many artists that we had on that night was phenomenal. My family and I, we had a wonderful time, and the community just totally embraced the whole concept that night.
Okay, and so the president had talked about being involved with children and going over to TCL and those things that is scheduled for Chapter 9. I think those things are important. It is important for us to be involved in the mentoring of our children and informing our children in a positive way. And so you all did, you just left TCL today, I believe, with something. Tell us about that.
Yes, we went over again. We was invited back because some of the students did not get to hear some of our members tell their story about their life pretty much and about their times in the Marine Corps. So we went back and engaged them about segregation and the Marine Corps and life in general, and they were so receptive. Matter of fact, they asked a lot of questions, got involved in the little class that we was given, and it was just a wonderful time.
We got the same reception from the high school students at Jenkins High School in Savannah, Georgia. In fact, they didn't want to let us out of there. We had to stay about an hour or two longer to answer all the questions that they had.
And so, how many students would you say that you presented to over in Savannah? Estimation of the numbers. How many do you think it probably was?
A little bit over 200.
Very well. That is the way I believe we have to get the message across. It is not that we will ever get to talk to thousands of people at one time, with the exception of the radio, but it is, we do it, one group at a time. And so we want to applaud you all for your efforts and your involvement in the community of taking on these invitations, because that is the way our young people are going to learn the history of the Monfort Point Marines. Having said that, there seems to be an initiative now that has been presented by Major General Mitchell, I believe, to get local students involved in flying in connection with Walterboro and the Air Force Museum up there. Would you tell us about that?
Yes, Pastor. Major General Mitchell talked to me once before about a program up in Walterboro where they are teaching students about avionics, and this program is absolutely free. They pay for the gas and everything. They even take some of the children up in the airplanes and to fly them around. He spoke to someone involved with this program, and at our meeting on the 1st of August at Mount Carmel Baptist Church Fellowship Hall, they will be coming to brief this program. We are asking that if we have any parents who are interested in having their children get involved in this program, to please be at that meeting at Mount Carmel Baptist Church Fellowship Hall at 5:30 on the 1st of August.
And that really will be just a great opportunity for parents and students to that want to be involved in aviation. There are so many different aspects of aviation, but I contend that if we expose our children to the many different careers that they can go into, I truly believe we are much better off. And so this is an opportunity for our children to be able to dream and to, number one, see people who have already done it, learn of people who have gone through the process. We've had blacks flying in America for many years. And so I think for our children to actually be able to dream that, you know what, I can fly if I want to, I can be a pilot or any of the other different careers in aviation, I believe is just great. So look forward, if you will, to coming out to the Fellowship Hall at Mount Carmel at 5:30 on the 1st of August, because there is going to be a most informative brief about this subject. What else do we have, sir?
Just some of the other things that we have been involved in. Of course, on the 16th of June, we had a jazz social at the air station, which was very successful. We had about 200 people in attendance. And we also made Pastor Cushenberry and his wife Robin an honorary member of our chapter. And we also made Brandon Robertson, who's the son of two of our members, Richard and Rosella Robertson, a honorary member. However, Brandon will be going in the Marine Corps before the end of this year and following his father and brother's footsteps to become a United States Marine.
Well, Brandon is following his father, his brother, and his mother. Is that right?
Yes.
As being Marines, and I think that's just wonderful. Having a Marine family, it is just absolutely awesome. It is a good thing. Tell us, who was the speaker at that jazz social?
Major General Mitchell, Harold Mitchell. Major General Mitchell is a product of Sheldon, South Carolina. He was a Marine for 6 years, and then he went into the United States Air Force Reserve and spent the rest of his time. He graduated from Robert Smalls High School right here in Beaufort, and I'm not sure if you know where a Major General is, but that's up there. He did very well, and we are very honored and very proud to have him as part of our Beaufort, South Carolina Chapter 9.
Yeah, he is a member, and not just a member, but he is absolutely involved, if you will, in the process. And that's what we are looking for people to become members of the Monfort Point Marine Association and help to tell the story and carry on the legacy of those great men who went before us. Master Sergeant Harris, you have some information, and there's one of those original Monfort Pointers. It really is, I won't say idols because we are not to have idols, but you have great respect for Sergeant Major Edgar Huff. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right, Pastor. Sergeant Major Huff served in the United States Marine Corps from 1942 to 1972. And in the event, when Sergeant Major Huff was entered the Marine Corps at Monfort Point, he amassed the rank of first sergeant in about 26 months. That is phenomenal. That is absolutely phenomenal. A Marine, today's Marine is absolutely has the opportunity allowed up to 22 years to obtain that rank. He obtained that rank in 26 months. And that was just one of the phenomenal things that he was able to accomplish in the Marine Corps.
See, what we have to understand is that during those times, because blacks were never allowed to be Marines before, so what they did is when the president finally was made, and I will reemphasize, the commandant was made to accept blacks into the Marine Corps. It was not by choice. He was forced to do it. And so when he finally had to do it, then you went and they got a Caucasian commanding officer. And so to train the black Marines, they took newly incorporated Marines who had been brought in, and so they graduated from boot camp, and then they were made drill instructors and given positions of leadership. And Sergeant Major Huff and Sergeant Major Johnson, Hashmark Johnson, they were people who actually came in and they were put in positions of leadership, and they just moved up from there because they had to establish a structure whereby the new black Marines could be trained, because no white Marines really wanted to train them. They really had to search hard to get the commanding officer, but they proved themselves in a mighty way from 1942 to 1949.
Yes, absolutely. I was a Marine for almost 19 years, didn't know a thing about the Monfort Point Marines. The Marine Corps just did not talk about the Monfort Point Marines or their contributions to the Marine Corps. When Mr. Abrams came to me about joining the chapter, I didn't know what he was talking about, and I was embarrassed that I didn't know, but I can't know what I've never been told.
And that's how I made PFC. I was on a drill team at Monfort Point. We was in a drill competition, and we lost the competition by 1/1000th of a point. And so our commanding officer got so mad at that decision He said, whatever rank you are now, when we get back to the area, put another stripe on top of it. And that's how I made PFC.
Now, Master Sergeant Patterson, what year was that?
That was 1960.
Lord, I tell you, it is awesome. It is absolutely awesome. And so to actually hear stories like that, to know the story of the original Monfort Pointers, and to see the progression that the Marine Corps has made. I often said, while I was on active duty, one of the greatest things that we could have done in the Marine Corps, which now has been done, is to incorporate Monfort Point Marine history into Marine Corps history. It has now been done, and every recruit that goes through San Diego and Parris Island, they receive Monfort Point history. As a matter of fact, in the Crucible, there is a Monfort Point Marine station in the Crucible that every recruit goes through before they graduate from Parris Island.
I got to go see that.
So it is. It really is a huge leap from 1942 up to this present, and to know that you came in during the time of the late 50s and the 60s, it wasn't even talked about. It absolutely was not talked about. In the 60s and the early 70s, it wasn't talked about. The thing that I got to learn is I went to school at Monfort Point, but I never knew the significance of Camp Monfort Point. Never knew it until I became a gunnery sergeant, and used to teach history at Parris Island as a gunnery sergeant. And so it just shows you how fragmented the history was, not just American history being kept away from Americans, but Marine history was kept away from Marines. And so that's what we are trying to overcome. And what we say is we solicit anybody into the membership of Monfort Point. It doesn't make any difference what the ethnic background is. If you served on active duty and you got an honorable discharge, you can be a Monfort Point Marine. Am I right?
You can be a part of the chapter. If you did 90 days and got an honorable discharge, it don't matter what branch of service you're from, you can be a member of our chapter. We would appreciate you joining. This is not just about being a Marine, but this is a historical thing, and we would love to have anyone join us and help us carry forth the legacy of the Monfort Point Marines.
We, when you hear this broadcast, we are going to be out in Las Vegas at the National Monfort Point Marine Convention. While you are listening to this, there is an agenda, and you are going out before I am. The national chaplain doesn't have the latitude to be and have the freedom to go out on the weekend and play around the way some people are going to be able to do. So just tell us about what a convention is. What happens at the National Convention of the Monfort Point Marines?
Yes, this year the Monfort Point Convention will be in Las Vegas, Nevada, from the July 19th until July 23rd. Members of the chapters, we got about 40 chapters across the United States, and we got several Monfort Point Marines who are still living. These folks are about in their late 80s, early 90s now, so seems like they're leaving us every day, but those who can make it will be also out at that convention. We will have meetings concerning the association and things that's going on in the association. We will also have several events like a ball. The Commandant of the Marine Corps is supposed to be there in attendance, and the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, Sergeant Major Green, who is an African American. We also have a president's reception that I learned is for the chapter presidents, where all of us will get introduced into the room to show who is the president of wherever chapter around the United States. And we're just going to have a grand old time meeting with each other, conversating, trying to figure out what each chapter does and how we can do things different, having meetings. There's some resolutions that we have that govern the chapter. They change from time to time. Some of those resolutions have come up for vote, so we're going to look at changing or leaving them the same. So there's a bunch of things that's going on. And every year, the National Monfort Point Marine Association hosts this event. The national president will be there, vice president, all the national officers, to include our national chaplain, Pastor Moore. He will be there, as he told you, and we're just going to have a wonderful time. And every year it moves from one place to the other, and eventually it will be coming to Beaufort.
It is really the main focus is about the planning and the governing of the association in the most effective way that it can possibly be. And it is people coming together and having a great time, but it's not all party. It is good, the partying is good, but we also want to know that we honor those who have gone before us. It is a great honor, and that Saturday night at the banquet, we actually do a memorial service in the banquet. We insert it in the banquet, and those members who have passed since the last time we met, there's a memorial for them. Taps is played, and it is just a reverent occasion whereby we come together and we remember those who have paid the price for us having had the opportunity to proceed through the ranks as we were blessed to be able to do. And so with that in mind, I will get ready to close, if you will. One of our members, as a matter of fact, he is also slated to be out at the convention as well, and that is Lieutenant General Bailey is going to retire on the 31st day of July, which is on a Monday. He is going to retire from the active duty ranks of the Marines. He has been a lieutenant general now for over 3 years, and he's going to retire and go back to St. Augustine and get involved in the community and in young people, helping to mentor young people. And so we are sorry to see him leave, but we know that there is another chapter in the life of Lieutenant General Ronald Bailey, just one of the greatest Marines that I've ever seen. The guy is just absolutely exceptional. And I'm going to come back from the convention, and I will fly that next week up to his retirement. He's going to be retired at 8th and I. They're going to have the grand parade for him and bestow the great honor upon him as having over 40 years of service on active duty in the United States Marine Corps. And so with that in mind, we'll ask you, Mr. President, is there anything closing that you need to say?
Yes, I got a couple of things. At our meeting Tuesday night, we found out that one of our members, Hank Herring, who owns the art studio downtown, his wife's father was a Monfort Point Marine, and he brought the documents in to prove it at our meeting. So I'm going to go through the process, and hopefully I will have the documents by the time we have our family day, which is on October the 7th at 1:00 p.m. at the Marine Corps Air Station Beaufort Log Cabin, so we can present it in front of everybody at that event. The family day, we're going to invite all the folks who have supported the Monfort Point Beaufort Chapter 9. We're going to invite you to that event. Get with some of the folks who are members of the chapter and let them know if you want to come, and if you don't have access to the base, we're going to need your full name and date of birth in order to create a roster to get you on the base. So we look forward to seeing you all at that event, and we're going to have a grand old time to include a bid whist and spades tournament that we have every year. Right now, the champs are two boys from Alabama, my homeboys, Deacon Morris and Deacon Ricks from Mount Carmel Baptist Church, and the spades champ is Napoleon Dunbar and Freddie Morton, who used to work for me in the military police. So I'm just winning all the way around, Pastor.
Well, we really have had a great conversation. We thank you all for coming. It is always good. It is my great pleasure and honor to always have someone from the Monfort Point Marine Association, because had it not been for the Monfort Point Marines, I would not have had the privilege to have been blessed the way I was in the United States Marine Corps. And so it has been our great pleasure here on Community Corner to have had the president of the local chapter, number 9, that of retired Master Colonel Sergeant Jackson, and the person of retired Master Sergeant Patterson and retired Master Sergeant Harris. It has been our great pleasure to have you on Community Corner, and we look forward to having you again. God bless you. Thank you for joining us for Community Corner on 94.5 Praise. And don't forget to join us every Thursday at 7 o'clock for the latest in community programs and highlights. If you want more information on today's topics or guests, you can find it on our website at praise945.com. May the peace and blessings of the Lord be yours.